Hello, I have just received my very first tube amp. Now, I'm only dipping my feet into the world of tube amplifiers at the moment and don't intend to get too serious about them just yet. And since I have an audiophile grade turntable set up in my living room, I thought one of the easiest ways to dip my feet into this new pool of tube amps, or at least what's new to me, is to swap my Phono Preamp with one that runs on vacuum tubes. Now, this is a tube amp made by a Chinese company called Douk Audio, and this is I believe their mini model. Now this tube amp runs on EF95 tubes, also known as 6AK5 in the United States, also known as 6J1 in China and 6J1B in Russia, but here in Europe we know them as EF95. So this unit comes with two I suppose standard grade 6J1 Chinese tubes, but I've got the GE ones in the car that I'll swap this out with just to compare the differences. But for now, I'm going to install the ones that came with the amp. So this is a 6J1s. So before I do that, let me just talk a bit about this Phono Preamp. Now, this one only takes moving magnet cartridges. Now this unit cost me just 48 quid, so just under 50 quid on eBay. What I don't like about this unit is its input and outputs are on opposing sides of the phono amp, whereas if you look at most phono amps on the market, all the connections are on the same side. So this makes it a bit, or I should say rather quite unaesthetically pleasing to install, because there is no way to hide the cables out of the way. But anyway, I'm only going to be using this temporarily just for comparison against what I've got, which I'll walk through in a moment. Now, just very quickly, this unit can apparently be powered by DC 24 volts or AC 18 volts. Now I'm glad they've given me the DC 24 volts power adapter, because when you use audio equipment, you really want to run them on DC current to reduce any chances of AC interference on the audio signal. Alright, so let's go out and have a look at what this is up against. Okay, so this is my setup. I've got a Project Essentials 2 turntable, which has the Ortofon moving magnet cartridge. This is the OM-5E, I believe. Let's have a quick look. Okay, let's focus the camera. Oh, it won't focus. Alright, anyway, that's the OM-5E cartridge. Now, down here I've got the Project Phono Box, which is the entry-level audiophile grade Phono Preamp from Project. And running out from the back, I've got Van Dam cables with Nutric plugs that are custom made by this company called biocable.com. Now they're really good. They'll make you any cable length to suit your installation. Now this is why I didn't quite like the new Phono Preamp that I just showed you, because there is no way these wires would reach the output of the device at the front. So I've got to work around for that. Now, if we move to the left, I've got the Zepplin Air, which is an audiophile grade speaker system. Now, it's quite basic, but the thing about the Zepplin Air is that it's a monoblock system, so it's got 5 drivers inside. It's got a woofer in the middle and 2 mid-range and 2 trebles, and they're all powered individually by their own amplifier. So there are 5 amplifiers in there that feed them. And yeah, so I would say the new Chinese tube amp has a lot to stand up against, but we'll give it a go and we'll see how it performs. Now I'm just going to set everything up and come back to this video again. Now I've got the new kit set up so that it works, but before I continue, I just want to mention 2 things that I forgot to mention earlier. Now this Project Phono Box supports both MM and MC cartridges. Now obviously if you're using a moving coil cartridge, it's going to cost somewhere between 800 to 1.5 grand, so you wouldn't be using a cheap Phono Preamp like one of these anyway. So support for MC is just, I think it's just a gimmick to me. Now the other thing I want to point out is this entire setup here is fully analog, so the line level cable runs straight to the amplifier on the Zepplin Air, and it bypasses the DAC and anything digital, so it's a complete analog system. So now I've got everything wired up. So I've got this male to female RCA cable here, this short cable that I've just used to route the output from this amp into the input that goes to the Zepplin. Now obviously at the back I've got the input from the tone arm of the turntable, and I've got this grounding loop here, this grounding jumper lead here that I've used to connect the new grounding lug to the old one, rather than removing all the ground cables from the existing Phono Box, because I've got 3 ground cables running to it. So one's from the tone arm obviously, and the other goes to this carbon fiber cleaning brush here, and lastly one of the cable runs to this the earth terminal on this plug here for grounding. So it took quite a bit of work putting all of that together, and I don't want to undo it. Now the last thing that we have to do is to prepare a vinyl to test this out. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to resume recording right after I've set something up. Oh, I failed to mention one very important thing. Both of these preamplifiers support what is called RIAA equalization, and RIAA is basically an industry standard way of uncompressing vinyl sound, because of the it's just the laws of physics that makes vinyl capture more of the mid-range frequencies, so the bandwidth is a bit limited. So RIAA equalization kind of compensates for that, and both of these units support it. Okay, so I think for the purpose of this initial test, there is no need to pull out one of the 180 grams audiophile jazz vinyl. So we'll start off with this a simple one, which is Ed Sheeran's Thinking Out Loud. Now everything is set up here. The brush, cleaning brush is set up. The tone arm is also resting on the lead-in grooves. And I've reconfigured the spindle to 45 RPM to match the vinyl's speed. Now, let's try to get this close. Okay, and as we can see, the tubes have sort of warmed up, I guess, because they're glowing red. Now, this is the very first time I'm using a tube amp, so, or rather a tube preamp. Now I'm a bit nervous, but here goes. So I'm going to switch the Zepplin Air's channel to line in, and we don't hear hissing or buzzing, which is a quite good sign. Now everything seems to be connected, so I'm just going to turn on the motor that spins the turntable and hope for the best. I heard a click on the speaker, which is good, which means the preamp is processing. Oh, here, look at that. Work like they used to before. Now, I've just turned the speaker off, because if I don't, then YouTube is going to flag this video up for copyright infringement. But hey, it works. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording now. I'm going to listen to it and give you my thoughts. Okay, now that my listening test is over, I have to say that I don't like this preamp at all, because there's quite a lot of distortion in the music for some reason, especially at loud volumes. Now this distortion sounds a bit like there was something stuck on the tip of the stylus. Now it's a sort of sound that you normally get if there's a bit of dust or lint from a microfiber cloth that's stuck on the stylus. So what I did was I stopped it halfway and I cleaned the stylus properly, and I'm 100% sure there is no dirt there. There wasn't any before I cleaned it, nor after, and I still kept getting that sort of clipping or distortion at loud volumes. So just to make sure that I still have a controlled setup, and it was caused solely by this preamp, I'm going to remove it now, and I'm going to wire it back up to this the original Phono Box to make sure that this effect goes away. And then if it does, then I'll swap the tubes out for the American GE ones to see if that makes a difference. But other than that, no, I'm not impressed, and I'm not going to be using this as it is at the moment. Okay, I've reverted the setup back to the original configuration, and surprise surprise, the distortion is now gone. So it was definitely caused by the dodgy Chinese tube amp, but I'm glad that I was able to get everything back to how it was before, so everything's working fine right now. So as I said earlier, when I've got a bit of time, I'm going to swap the tubes out for the GE5654Ws and give that another go. So yep, that's it for now.